What's up, guys? Lesson 83. We're going to solve coin problems. Here we go.
Flack math! Give me some math and I'll give you some flack. Flack math!
All right, lesson 83. Solving coin problems. All right, let's say we've got 40 dimes and nickels. So these are kind of like riddles. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Just trust me. 40 dimes and nickels. So for example, we could have like 39 dimes, 1 nickel. We could have 38 dimes, 2 nickels. Okay, we could go all the way down to like 1 dime and 39 nickels. So how many different possibilities are there? Well, 1, 2, all the way down to 39. So 39 different possibilities. Okay, so we need more information if we want to know how many dimes and how many nickels we have. Okay, so here's our next sentence. Let's say we have 6 more dimes than nickels. So let's see if we can figure that out. Let's say if we cut it in half, we get 20 dimes and 20 nickels. Okay, well that doesn't work because there's not 6 more dimes than nickels. So let's go 21 dimes and 19 nickels. Okay, now we're 2 apart. 22 dimes and 18 nickels, and now they're 4 apart. So 23 dimes and 17 nickels add up to 40, and there's 6 more dimes and nickels. So 2 things have to be true. The number of dimes and number of nickels has to add up to 40. Watch this. Number of dimes plus the number of nickels has to add up to 40. And we have to say that there are 6 more dimes than nickels. So the number of dimes equals the number of nickels plus 6. All right? So now we've got 2 equations with 2 variables in it. So we're going to use our strategies to solve systems of equations. How many strategies are there? There's 3 strategies. Number 1, solve by substitution. Number 2, solve by elimination. Number 3, solve by graphing. All right, well, I think that the most obvious way to do this is substitution. So see how D is by itself and it says D equals n plus 6. So remember, D doesn't want to be called D anymore. D's new name is n plus 6. It's his new wrapper name. So N, I don't know how to do that sign. N plus 6, that's his new wrapper name. Yo, N plus 6. So we're going to substitute that in for D. So we're going to rewrite this equation. Instead of D, we're going to say his new wrapper name, N plus 6, and then plus N equals 40. So do you see how we just rewrote this equation with D's substitute value or expression of N plus 6? First step, solving equations, simplify both sides first. There's no parentheses, but there are like terms. N plus N is just 2N. Plus 6 equals 40. Second step, if there's variables on both sides, get rid of the smaller one. There's not. There's just a constant, minus 6. So get rid of that's step number 3. Get rid of the constant on both sides, or get rid of the constant on the variable side. So 2N equals 34. Last step, divide by 2. So N equals 17. All right, and that's what we figured out when we just kind of did it logically. So if N equals 17, well, now I can substitute that value in right there. So now my D is going to be whatever N is, 17 plus 6. So number of dimes equals 23. Okay, done. All right, so now I knew I would do this. I switched from uppercase to lowercase just because it was weird for me to do an uppercase N. Okay, that happens. Hopefully you're not confused, but I feel a lot better with lowercase n's. So let's try an example. Example 1, here's what we got. We've got 28 coins. And what are these coins? Let's say they are dimes and nickels. So for example, we could have 27 dimes and 1 nickel, all the way down to 1 dime and 27 nickels. Okay, so there's 27 different possibilities. So how do we say this? 28 coins, dimes, and nickels. Well, we're going to say D plus N, should have went lowercase, blew it, equals 28. All right? Well, that's our first sentence. So we need another sentence. We need more information. So I'm going to switch to blue. Blue's pretty. And let's say the value of these dimes and nickels is $1.95. So how do you say the value? Well, how do you calculate the value of your coins? So 28, this is not how much money you have. This is how many dimes and nickels this is the number of coins. So that doesn't tell you the value. We don't have $28 or 28 cents when we have 28 coins. If they were all pennies, yeah, they'd be 28 cents. But they're not, they're dimes and nickels. So how do you count your money? Well, what I do is I separate all my dimes and nickels. That's what I do. I actually carried around dimes. Who carries around change anymore? Nobody does. Nobody has actual change. Like sometimes I just throw away pennies because they smell and they're dirty. I throw them away. I feel bad about it. I shouldn't do that. I'm not going to do that. Don't tell anybody I do that. So how do you calculate your dimes and nickels? Well, for every dime you have 10 cents. Congratulations. So we're going to multiply our number of dimes times 10. And how do you calculate your nickels? Well, for every nickel you have 5 cents. So 5 times your number of nickels. This has to equal, since the value is $1.95, $1.95. Well, first of all, let's get something straight. Are we going to go dollars or are we going to go cents? If we wanted to go dollars, then this wouldn't be 10 times the number of dimes. It would be 0.10 times the number of dimes because it's 10 cents. How you say that in dollar language is 0.10. And 0.05 is how much each nickel is worth. So 0.05 of a dollar. So that's confusing. So let's just convert everything to cents. So instead of $1.95, we're going to say 195 cents. Okay, you okay with that? I'm okay with that. All right, so now we've got a system of equations. So what do? We can solve by substitution, elimination, or graphing. This time, let's try elimination because it's so fun. You can use elimination if you have a variable that will cancel itself out by adding it to another equation. So for example, if this was a negative 10d up here, it would cancel out the d's. Or if this was a negative 5n, it would cancel out the n's. But it's not, but you can manipulate this in a way where it will be. Let's say we're going to multiply everything by negative 5. Okay, so whatever you do to the left side, you have to do to the right side. So we're going to multiply the right side by negative 5. Now, why do we do that? Well, if you didn't figure it out already, you'll see in a second here. So let's simplify that out. We're going to rewrite it here. So negative 5 times d is negative 5d. And then negative 5 times n is negative 5n. Then you multiply 28 times 5, and you get negative 140. Okay? So now what happens? Add these two equations together, because you can always add equations together. Something's printing. 1 second. Kind of a loud printer. It's all right.
What are you doing?
My daughter, she's printing something. Okay, so we're adding. So 5d plus nothing, because those cancel. Beautiful. Do that math. 195 minus 140, 55. Okay, then just divide by the variable's coefficient. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Look at that easy equation. D equals 11. So if D is 11, we have to figure out what N is. Okay, so now this is a little bit more complicated, not too much. But now that we know what D is, we just have to plug it into one of these equations up here. The easiest one to me looks like that top one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug that 11 in right there. Okay, so instead of D plus N equals 28, I'm gonna say 11 plus N equals 28. Get rid of 11. N equals 17. Let's see if that makes sense. So first truth is there's 28 coins. 17 plus 11 is 28. Check. Value is $1.95. Well, what's 11 dimes? That's 110 cents or $1.10. 17 nickels. 17 nickels. 85 cents. So 85 cents plus 110 cents. Check. 195. That works. All right. Example 1, done. Okay, example 2, here we go, moving right along. Let's say we've got $4.45 in quarters and dimes. Okay, we've got quarters this time. We're moving up in the world. $4.45 in quarters and dimes. Here's our next sentence. We have 8 more quarters than dimes. So how do we say these two sentences? 445 in quarters and dimes. Well, our value, we've got to have a value equation, right? So this is our value equation, is this. So how do you calculate your number of quarters? Well, each quarter is worth 25 cents. So 25Q plus your dimes. So 10 times the number of dimes, that has to equal 445 cents. All right, so that's our value equation. So the other equation we have is a quantity equation. So sometimes you'll be given a quantity equation, like the total number of dimes and nickels, and sometimes you'll be given a value equation, or sometimes you'll be given both, okay? Doesn't matter. As long as you have two separate truths, you're good. So let's go back to this. Our quantity equation is 8 more quarters than dimes. So number of quarters is whatever dimes is plus 8. All right, so now since Q is by itself, that's a gift. It's nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug in D plus 8 for Q. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right there. So I'm gonna rewrite this equation with my new Q value. So 25Q, which is now D plus 8, plus 10D equals 445. All right, does this make sense? Are you following me? I'm following me. 25D, so all I'm doing is removing the parentheses by distributing. Plus 8 quarters is 200. Plus 10D equals 445. All right, 25D and 10D, that's 35D. All we're doing now is combining like terms. Okay, next step, get rid of 200, get rid of the constant on the variable side. Step 2 in solving equations is get rid of the smaller variable term if you have variables on both sides, but you don't. So now step 3 says get rid of the constant on the variable side. So 35D equals 245. Now we divide both sides by the variable's coefficient, step 4, and D equals 7. All right, so if D equals 7, then Q equals whatever D is, 7, plus 8. So Q equals 15. All right, let's check that, make sure it works. 15 quarters, let's see, that's 375 plus 7 dimes, which is 70. So what's 375 plus 70? 445. Boom, checks out, we're good. Example 2, done. All right, example 3, one more. Here we go. 22 nickels and dimes. Okay, what else do we know? We know that it's valued at $1.35 or 135 cents. 22 nickels and dimes. How do you say that? Number of nickels plus the number of dimes is 22. Okay, how do you say the value? Well, count them out. How do you value your nickels? 5 times the number of nickels plus 10 times the number of dimes equals 135 cents. All right, so now we're either going to use substitution or elimination. Let's use substitution. So let's say that N is just, well, get rid of the D. So N is just 22 minus D. Okay, so we're going to substitute that guy in right there. So 5N, which is 22 minus D, plus 10D equals 135. Okay, simplify. So 5 times 22 is 110 minus 5D plus 10D equals 135. Combine like terms. Okay, remember this is a negative 5D, so this is actually 110 plus 5D because positive 10D and negative 5D is positive 5D. That equals 135. Get rid of 110 on both sides. 5D equals 25. Ooh, that's nice. D equals 5. So if D is 5, how do you figure out nickels? Well, nickels is 22 minus whatever D is, which is 5. So number of nickels is 17. Let's check that math. 50 cents, because 5 dimes is 50 cents, 17 nickels. Okay, so that's 85 cents plus 50 cents is 135 cents, $1.35. Boom, we're done. We did it. That's it. You guys get it? Does this make sense? Now, obviously, you don't have to use this method. You could just, you have 21 different possibilities in this and others, and you could do it that way. We're just using systems of equations to solve these riddles of coins, okay? Hope that was informative and enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. See you in lesson 84.